What's going on there, guys? We back with another one. Today we got to talk about Stephen A. Smith's interview with Desmond Bane. And they talked about several things, but the most important thing right now is Dillon Brooks and his departure from the Memphis Grizzlies. You know, it's been announced that he won't be back. I think he came from Shams, and there's a lot of people that had different thoughts about that. JJ went off on a whole spiel about that Shams is trying to create a narrative where Stephen A was like, you know, if he heard that from somewhere. I'm going to play that clip after this, but I want to show you what Desmond Bane had to say first.
Des, before we went to commercial break, we were talking about Dillon Brooks and him being a part of this team, the Memphis Grizzlies. There were reports that he's not coming back to the Memphis Grizzlies. Wanted to know y'all thoughts about that as a teammate. How are you feeling when you hear such news?
Yeah, I mean, first and foremost, you know, we all got a bunch of love for Dillon. You know, he's one of the first guys in, last guys to leave. You know, I don't think it's hard to see what type of competitor he is and what type of effort he lays out on the line every night. You know, but things like this, you know, happen. You know, it's part of the business. You know, there ain't no telling whether he's going to be back with us or with another team in the future. But, you know, regardless, whatever happens, I wish him the best. You know, I've seen him grow as a basketball player, a teammate, a father. You know, he's got a beautiful daughter. You know, so whatever happens for him, I'm going to be cheering. You know, hopefully it's with us, but, you know, if not, you know, I'll be rooting for him as long as he's not in the Western Conference.
Making Dillon Brooks the scapegoat, but whoever put that language and approved that language in the tweet, yeah, that person wants to make Dillon Brooks the scapegoat. The reality is the Grizzlies have other problems besides Dillon Brooks. And whether they choose to bring him back or don't choose, or, you know, whatever it may be, I can't remember a time in my now 17 years either being in the NBA or covering the NBA where we're in the second round of the playoffs, the day of a game where two of the greatest players ever are getting ready to square off, and we're just tweeting out things for engagement. Like, is that where we're at? Is that where, actually, you know what? I'd be willing to bet that language didn't come from the Grizzlies.
I just, for me, I think it's bullshit. You know what I mean? I mean, you know, I guess if you offend LeBron, everybody get mad. I guess when you compete against LeBron, everybody get mad. Yeah, he got a chip on his shoulder. Yeah, he might say some things, but he ain't the first player to do that. Right. Ron Artest did it. I did it. Draymond does it. Like, I don't understand. I guess he poked the wrong bear, but I don't agree with that shit. I don't agree with them coming out and saying that shit. Baltimore did the same shit with Lamar Jackson. Tried to come out and demean him so nobody else wouldn't sign it. When nobody else wouldn't sign him. I've been in those shoes where people try to demean your character and say these certain things about you and don't understand that this guy just like playing the game a certain type of way. He play hard. Is he the most talented player? No. But he competes. He's in the NBA for a reason. Y'all signed him. Y'all brought him there for a reason. But don't demean him now because he said some things or he might have ruffled y'all feathers. Okay, what would have been better for me? For Memphis to come out and say, you know what? We can't have Ja doing all this and Dillon. We have to get rid of one of them for the betterment of our organization. But don't just try to single Dillon Brooks out just because he played the game a certain way with a chip on his shoulder to make it seem like he's a bad guy and we just gonna come out and say we don't want to bring him back at all. I think that's bullshit on their behalf.
I think this holds some significance just due to the fact that as Bane's game started going up, you know, it's not at all-star level yet, but he's one of those fringe guys right now that may make an all-star team if his team experiences a certain amount of success and he keeps leveling up each year. You know, he's right on that cusp, you know, below like an NBA all-star. So it's just significant in the fact that Dillon Brooks was responsible for more offense, you know, when Bane was a little bit younger. And Jaren Jackson was a little bit younger. That's not what he's asked to do for this team. And I think you add those factors in, that's what caused him to be out. He wasn't great at spotting up shooting. You know, Dillon Brooks would take some shots where you'd be like, who is this dude think he is? But he was an offensive player at Oregon. You know, he could score at Oregon. I remember they beat Brandon Ingram and Duke you know, in the tournament. But looking at him now, his efficiency has gone down. You look at someone like Bane, always shooting over 46-47% from the floor, especially the last 2 years. I don't really count the rookie years, but every year after that, I think he shot over 45-46, I'll say, percent from the floor. And Dillon Brooks has dropped down to the 30s this year. And I don't think he's been this low at any point in his career, including his rookie year. I think he might have shot 41 one year, but he was better on offense than this at one point. So I don't know. It seems like maybe the antics and the changing of the role has made him take a step back on that end of the floor. And you have to be able to play offense to be playable in this NBA. I mean, you look at someone like Matisse Thybulle, he was drafted based on his defense coming out of Washington. But he wasn't able to make enough shots to be playable, because the thing is, the pace of these games now, man, the tempo, they score a lot of points, they get up and down. So you stopping someone isn't what this basketball highlights, really. I mean, you could do it in spots, but they're going to get several opportunities. Guys are just going to chuck threes. They're going to be up and down all day, and you'll be gassed trying to just guard somebody and you never touching the ball. Anybody that's played basketball knows that. If you don't touch the basketball and you just rebounding and you just sliding your feet, but you never get any touches, you get more tired faster than you would if you saw the ball go through the basket sometimes. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like Dillon Brooks has a chance to land on his feet. They're talking about the Mavericks. Everybody, they're talking about the Mavericks for everybody. I've heard for the Mavericks, Jaren Jackson Jr., DeAndre Ayton, Dillon Brooks. I've just been hearing every name that isn't firmly locked in with their team right now going forward may be on the move. But I feel like Jaren is going to definitely be with Memphis. But definitely Ayton and Brooks, they may get a shot. But they have to do something. And Dillon has to prove everybody wrong, you know, that he still has some value in the league, because OG Anunoby and those guys are going to be up, you know, to be traded. Toronto has basically said it. So they're going to be top priority. Teams are going to want to bring those guys in. And you're seeing what Josh Hart is doing. That's who Dillon Brooks needs to study. You know what I'm saying? Someone like that. Because any team, if a team wants to trade you, you get traded to another team, you can earn your time. Coaches love Josh Hart. So Dillon needs to become one of those players that coaches love again. Because I feel like a year and a half ago, the Grizzlies coach did love him, you know, and the organization loved what he brought to the table. I feel like there's unfortunate events that took place this year, and Dillon participating in some of that led to his departure, you know. And maybe I just want to see what happens with this, though, because I remember he was talking so crazy about Iguodala wanting to get out of Memphis, but they probably needed somebody like an Iguodala in Memphis. When I look at it hindsight, they should have been begging him to stay just for the locker room purposes, because they needed someone to stabilize their locker room. We saw it all come to a head this year. Thank God nothing seriously happened to anybody, so maybe they could turn it around, and hopefully Dillon Brooks can turn his career around. He did something right to get to the NBA, you know what I'm saying? So he's got to go back and lock in and remember what made his coach love him, what made them want to take a chance on him, how did he get in the starting lineup. Go back to the drawing board, do those things, improve on those things, expound, and become the best version of yourself, and give yourself the best possibility to find your best fit, man. So that's all I want to say about that. But look, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Until next time, peace.